Hey team, I'm Amanda Marida and I'm the product manager for product intelligence. I want to walk you through what you can expect for the May 2022 Think Big session. So let's go ahead and dive in. I didn't create a slide deck this time because those are boring. So let's just walk through some live materials here. So we have an issue created for the Think Big session for this month. The problem that we are trying to solve is existing events instrumentation are not easily discoverable. And the jobs to be done, kind of expanding on this problem, is as a product manager or an engineer, I need to identify existing metrics instrumentation so I do not waste time re-instrumenting metrics which already exist, okay? So this might sound familiar to you if you watch the customer interview video or read any of the materials that came out of the customer interviews, because this was, I think, maybe the number 3 problems to solve is scoped by the RICE score. So it was very apparent that people have problems knowing where to look and how to look for existing metrics instrumentation. For purposes of the May session, I want to mention that we are only going to talk about snowplow events. We're not going to consider service ping metrics in this conversation because we want to reduce the scope and make sure that we have plenty of time to talk about all the opportunities. What we end up coming up with might also work for service ping, but let's just focus on snowplow for now. Okay, so I'd like to walk you through a use case. So consider this example, and I'll just pull this up for you. Here it is, where a product leader 6 months ago, this was mid-November, created an issue for her dev team because she wanted to know how many custom value streams were created. When she created the issue, she tagged her engineering manager and said she needed some help getting the details filled in. The engineering manager came in and gave a pretty quick breakdown of the work that was needed. The product manager came back and said, that looks good. And so the engineering manager created another issue for that actual work. And then a month later, in discussions in Slack, coincidentally with me, Orit discovered that this metric was already instrumented. And so the engineering manager was able to close that instrumentation issue, and the rest of this issue, they just went into Sisense to create a dashboard. And so this is a very small example, and really what was expended here erroneously was the time to open the message, pinging the engineering manager, the engineering manager thinking about this problem, opening a related issue, right? The back and forth, which probably wasn't a whole lot of time in, thinking about this particular problem. But all of this could have been resolved if Orit was able to discover that this particular metric had already been instrumented. Okay, so let's hear from Elper, who actually, let me stop sharing for a second because I think I forgot to share my audio. Okay, let's share again. Okay, should work this time. All right, let's hear Elper. And again, if you did watch the customer interview feedback, you will recognize this clip. But this is Elper, who is an engineer in our growth department, telling us more about this problem. Stand up. Hi.
Discoverability of events. Now we have this nice metrics dictionary, but in short, it's very difficult for a PM to say, hey, I have a new event, or shall I go and get it here on the metrics list or Sisense? How to make sense of all that? Now I have a question. That's also a challenge, I think the answer is not easy. So how can you know that your what you are looking for is already instrumented or can be derived from available data.
Okay, thank you, Albert. All right, so that kind of, with the example as well as Alper's summarization of the problem, that pretty much drives it home. But I want to do one last thing, and that is I want to put on my product hat and walk through the problem live. Okay, so let's say that I am the product manager for Epic Boards. Okay, the team that owns Epic Boards. And let's say I want to know how many times people change the show labels control here, and what are they doing before and after that, right? So let's say I already do know about the metrics dictionary, because I think that that's the first step of the problem. But let's say I know about it. I know that I need to come to Snowplow because I'm talking about events. And let's say, well, I'm just going to search to see if it's been instrumented because I'm brand new. Today's day one. I don't know what this team has done before. So if I come here and I say epics, because I'm on epics board, only one value comes up with epics, and it is click load more epics button. That's not what I want. Maybe it's not plural. Okay, let's see. Click epics board switcher. Okay, that's weird. Okay, let me try epic board. Well, that doesn't return anything. How about board? Okay, there's 8 results. Click edit, drag issue, toggle labels on board. I think that that's the one that I was looking for, right? So let's take a look again. Show labels. Well, that might be it. Toggle labels, show labels on off. So I might make an assumption that it already exists based on this, but it's not a direct match because this says show labels and the value on the UI is, oh, it is show labels. Perfect. I thought it was something else. Okay, so now I think that this is it. But what if I didn't get the idea to search by board? Or what if the value that I used was so big, returned so many results, like create, for example, shows 29 results. Am I really going to toggle through all of those? So discoverability is tricky because you have to know the terminology that's been used for the dictionary, or you have to go to a developer to ask them to look in the code to see if it's already been instrumented. And do developers struggle with this? I'm not sure. So that is just an illustration of the problem that we are trying to solve. Now, the opportunities that we brainstorm don't have to be technical opportunities. They can be enablement opportunities, but I would love to see ways that we can make this information more discoverable for all personas that might care about it. So next steps. Please, if you plan on not attending the session, but you want to contribute, please go ahead and add comments to this async ideas thread in the Think Big issue. You can, what I'm looking for you to do is just drop in opportunities that could, not necessarily solutions, but opportunities that could aid in this this problem to solve, right? And again, it's existing events instrumentation are not easily discoverable. If you plan on attending the session, you can also collaborate ahead of time just to get some ideas out. If you don't have time to collaborate before the session and you're not attending, don't worry. We're going to have this feedback and async collaboration thread open for a week after the session as well. So you can always collaborate in that way. I've shared the Miro link with hopefully everybody, but it's also in the invite, as well as the issue is in the invite as well. All right, thanks everybody. I appreciate your time and watching, and have a great rest of your day. See you at the session.